I guess we put a bow on this game, guys. As much as it wasn't his night, Saquon Barkley was the heart and soul of the Super Bowl championship team. 25 carries, 57 yards. He did catch 6 passes for 40 yards. And Jay, honestly, while the stat line's unimpressive, him doing everything he did leading up to this game is the reason they won, because of the way you need to play against this team. He's that much of a dynamic threat from the backfield that the 25 carries, while inefficient, had a huge impact on this game.
Yeah, and I think Saquon is probably the story of the season. I mean, he goes for the most rushing yards in a season. And when you think about the difference between this Eagles team that won the Super Bowl and the team that got trucked in Tampa Bay and got embarrassed in the first round last year, to me it's Saquon, and then it's Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, revolutionizing that defense on the back end, of Vic Fangio as well, obviously. But to me, when I think about this season, I mean, a lot of things, but like Sam Darnold's year is ridiculous, but Saquon Barkley, particularly how he just kept on breaking those 70-yard runs, that's what I'll most remember most about the year.
Matthew, will Saquon be the #1 pick by ADP in fantasy drafts next year, or is it just too hard for a running back to consistently do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think, honestly, I have Saquon as my #1 running back right now, but I've seen other people that have Bijan at 1 as their #1 running back. I think it'll be Jamar Chase. That'll be the consensus #1 overall pick next year. I currently have Jefferson. I have Chase at 1. I have Justin Jefferson at 2. My way too early top 25 rankings. We'll update them this week, now that the Super Bowl is over. But, if you look at the rankings now, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to come up, and we'll adjust for some of the news that we saw throughout the NFL playoffs. But, yeah, I think I have Saquon as the #1 running back for me next year, #3 overall. I think if you wanted to nitpick, what you could say is, what happened this year, going into the year, people were worried that he wasn't going to really be used in the passing game that much, and he was going to get touchdowns vultured by Jalen Hurts. Both those things happened, and it ended up not mattering because he kept breaking off these 60, 70-yard runs. Do you think that can continue, next year, as teams now have the offseason to sort of scheme and plan for Saquon? Again, you have to nitpick at the top level. That's, I think, if people are making the Bijan Robinson over Saquon Barkley argument, that's the argument, right? Is that Saquon's another year older, massive workload this year, and can you count on those big, long touchdown runs? Because he does get vultured at the goal line a lot, and he doesn't have massive passing game usage the way that a Bijan Robinson does, the way that, a Devon Achane or Jahmyr Gibbs does. So I think those will be the arguments, but obviously Saquon's going to be a top 5 pick in every draft next year.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.